the state has reserves. It's the reason why we have a country called Ghana. That when there is crisis, the state must intervene. What the government has failed to tell us.
Abusia mo akwa basonko ba agenda 233 ha and speaking truth to the power. Aye the State of the Nation address ya Mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ebe kan no. Ensem bebrebe ewo ma. Ebi ye no kra ebi so enya no kra ne de ye ba be di ho nkomo. Na ensem ahodo a ekọ so ene de wo Parliament House no. Ye be react to na so wache wadwen e wo comment section wo. NPP for after Mampanyi Eden 72 Jan almost so do mo sembi abetu jo mabe fire back to John Mahama any NDC amanyokuo no ede eno mo ka meso kan ho na yenwura enkomodie no meso pass obehete subscribe at me se ne dey ena ho medwumade ya ha agenda 233 meso subscribe na afi kire wadwen e comment section said de bia amampanyi ahodo o mabe twem ekọ no no omo ba ombe kan the State of the Nation address said ombe fa oman no baby omdo oman na dru ene de omo pese omdo oman ekọ no omba be kan na ne dey ana omampanyi John Mahama be di ade as president 2024 elections o we ne ye no na esese okokan baby a oman no be fa ye ene baby ono so aye de koduru ne de opese o de koduru no ene dey ene course na ensem bia o de tudwa ana ye ba be di enkomo said omampanyi ensem o de be tudwa no wo wadwen eye wo sei e wo ho baby a na o hwe se obekasa afa ho okasa fa ho baby a na wo hwe se obekasa afa ho okasa fa ho origin anase wo district a wo mu no oti wudin wo se project ahodo a omampanyi ebe ye no wo so origin no anase wo krom ebe enjoy bi ana yes anase obe benefit message se obe hit subscribe button na kai na ebe can this one for family home by commenting yes o comment ebe boa na face what put notification bell icon on na said be ya ensem bi de betu dwa no so wonsa akabenu ahu de ekoso said ya medi ka kan no ene da upie wo emontamu a omampanyi ebe kan ne nsem ena se ensem de betu dwa no enema bebrebe na ekoso yes se say upie mo NDC amamu no a ase I say omane could asabi oman se kutreja nan no omde bibi kakra ayefifu eno bebrebe na aso yetuntum a how amane aba oman ni mu a se amanfo bebrebe na esu na sese no oba monten so a documents so de oman economy ni ejina na so yes dollar yi ejina yi se wo obi a wodi dwa na akokwan so kofa nema dollar ne de ejina yi yes nanso dollar ne kra na ese ejina yi no okọ black market ya na so baby a obenya dollar no black market because say okọ banks ahodo a omo oman yi mu a okọ a obeka che say dollar ni ho nanso obekọ black market ya abochi for you na dollar no ho a ono ewo people so say dollar no ye 10.68 no ono so de okọ a ode beje 12 cedis wanya the list kra na ye 12 cedis a che say dollar no book so de ewo form na mom oba abonte eda so wo soro kakra a adwedifo so esu na adwadie mu no amanfo ebebi na edi nkomos ade na dollar no de ewo form na nso enema a ye to de bia na bo eye den na ne dey enkomodie ekoso a ye find out who say de ntia dollar no de ate ewo documents mu na nso en reflect ewo yama ye dada asetena mu no say dollar na okwa akọji no bank no okọ bank ya se commercial bank se Fidelity se bank biala onim no okwa omeka chew se omuni dollar esisi a ewo ho nemum okọ abochi no ho a dollar kro na omuni no bank scroll ya na kukuru dollars yi koma abochi for no nom so eton commissions ahodo etoso na no ana akwa wo ye dwadini a se nanka documents me chese ubenya na 10 cedi 68 pesos anase 10 cedis per dollar no okọ black market why the amount 12 cedis enti ukọ kra ne ma ne ba said that people so say sen ka wote ne ma so because the dollar na akofom untimi nte so sa all those obete so nanso entimi nte so say the ordinary Ghanaian na beti ase say kasa na ye no na afi so campaign ahodo a NDC ye ewo ye Ghana ha say omo be ma port duty ahodo no ebe ye fix e chese ebia o kraka car so enso oba uyiba say ne de beje no say entesa even though very because say agent A ekwa koyi the same car ne bono from na agent B square koyi ne bono ewo soro na nkomodie guta president abedisa nkomoye yeso yenya information ti yeso yegina so akasa asemwe na ensema hodo a ekoso said ye kanom electricity bill I skyrocketing because NPP breast na NDC the bona na say electricity bill aye den dodo. Electricity bill aye den dodo. Nanso ene day Ghana ha obi biara obeka no preche say ebehu say electricity bill ekosoro sen emra na ado dankwa Akufo-Addo eti adwaso no eno ana yebusa say edie na omampanyi beka en ense omampanyi beka file electricity no wo wadwen eye wo say oti ase ema ne yeye kire wadwen e wo comment section na face so koko sense ma na ansen ebeto odwa through the state of the nation address omampanyi ebeka no se wo okafa koko board ho nsem no wadwen ye wo say so wabusuani bi eye koko farmer anase wo ye beneficiary of cocoa wo wadwen wo say wo sans momampanyi de tu dwan message also be hit subscribe to na fe wa like video no na aha ye medi enkomo say bi aba ye political jandam bi abo political party bi yes NPP asemba na enya ye beka na NDC so de ba ye beka nti oba so a na wa kire wadwen wo comment section na fe so transport system no Ghana ha de momampanyi kafa ho akwan ahodo a wo yes obeyi no wo constituency or region like okura ofri so wo mantemu no enyema akwan na okan ase obeyi no ede ana wo so o expect from omampanyi all those who are kanema bebrebe all do yenya ba bebrebe a ehun say esi nto no o kanema bi so a na eye ebo oman Ghana yes eye ebo oman Ghana esese ye hye na eyeyi na wo kanema ne adoye bi so ayeye no amanfoforo bi so se Jamaica abra atorenchep etuom no ye koboa omo baby bebrebe a nyema bi ekọ chiw ne ekobo mu a wode ni nyina etodwa na afi so ensema hodo a okọ emonten so a etodwa efa the state of the nation address no mampanyi make statement bi say nkokọ nketenkete ode bae no abeboa because first start all start nkokọ nketenkete program no all day 720 bears emma over 13 farmers 13,000 farmers and no ana for say hey omampanyi either say number na or kind no ye mistake nanso as or peja enema mududu how can you say how say obetimi ayede ache enkoko 720 ama ekuafo over 13,000 as 1,003 busa ho sa question we ebede na aye possible na say ekuani bi anya baako ana eno ana ye question a yebusa wo omampanyi state of the nation address or the betu dwaro come ho na subscribe to the channel now also share now unu aso enya benhwe
the price of cocoa per bag, making the poor cocoa farmer worse off. They claim that there were some international market downturns. Therefore, the poor cocoa farmer should suffer for it. But it's the reason why the state has reserves. It's the reason why we have a country called Ghana. That when there is crisis, the state must intervene. What the government has failed to tell us is how much it will cost the country should the cocoa farmer be given support by maintaining the 3,600 per bag of cocoa. They didn't tell us. They rather reduced the price, gave a haircut, and today Mr. President could not offer any reasonable explanation. Neither could he give a justification for this haircut. We again reiterate our demand on the President and his government. Pay the cocoa farmer. Pay the cocoa farmer what is rightfully his. The Ghanaian cocoa farmer is worse off and he deserves better. Keep to your promise and not empty rhetorics. Second issue is electricity. The president claims that upon assumption of office, the government has taken away nuisance taxes. We disagree as a minority. What we know practically is that government has rather imposed 1 Ghana cedi per liter of petrol that we buy at the pump. They introduced what we call Dumso levy, the energy sector reform levy, Dumso levy, which they hurriedly passed in Parliament. We are aware that when it comes to electricity, they have increased electricity tariffs between 25 to 30%. Even so, in practical terms, households and industries are worse off because they are paying more on electricity and it is biting them very hard. Though on paper, the electricity tariffs have increased by this 25 to 30%. In reality, households are paying more than 100% in terms of tariff hikes. Because if previously an individual will buy 1,000 Ghana cedi electricity for a month, now that 1,000 Ghana cedi can only last for a week, if not less. We are all suffering from this, and the president cannot come to Parliament and tell us that they met some energy sector debts. What we are even experiencing is that Dumso is back. Dumso is back. Apart from this, we also note that the president was again interested in bureaucracy and nothing about actual jobs created. The NDC has been in office for over a year now. They promised a 24-hour economy, 1 job, 3 shifts. The president could not tell the people of Ghana as to whether or not the government has been able to implement this 24-hour economy. What we rather know is that since this government came into office, thousands of Ghanaian youth who were already employed were dismissed from the employ of state-owned institutions. Some who have been in employment since 2017, 18, 19, and all were all sacked. The 24-hour economy is yet to see the light of day. In fact, one incentive that would have promoted this 24-hour economy is cheaper electricity. So if government is making electricity expensive to consume, to use, how does a government attract investment? In fact, the 1D, 1F policy, since it was cancelled, there hasn't been an alternative policy to drive economic growth. The Ministry of Trade has not announced any policy alternative to boost economic growth through job creation, through more businesses. There is no incentive for the private sector. So I repeat that this government is only fixated on PR rather than serious governance that will create jobs. Galamsey. Today we heard another rhetoric from His Excellency the President that they are fishing for the godfathers of Galamsey. Like seriously, you've been in government for a year. You are now looking for the kingpins of Galamsey. I would want, on behalf of the Minority Caucus, state unequivocally that this government is not interested in fighting Galamsey. In fact, the gold board that they've established, practically what gold board is doing is to promote Galamsey, because gold board has not brought up any regulation, any blueprint that directs its aggregators to buy genuine gold regularly mined from licensed miners. For them, it's a free for all, and there is no directive on this. Government is not making any serious efforts at fighting Galamsey. So we don't take government serious when it comes to galamsey issues. Now, Mr. President talks about inflation having coming down. Are inflation ebedi? Are we going to eat inflation? What is inflation on paper when it has no effect in the pocket of the ordinary Ghanaian? If the president is talking about macroeconomic stability, you can achieve stability on paper for the IMF and the World Bank. But the real stability is when the Ghanaian people go to the market and experience lower prices on foodstuffs. But when they are complaining, you cannot use paper inflation to claim credit and ask us to applaud you. We will not applaud the government. We are not interested in the paper inflation. That is paper success. Practically, they have failed. They have given haircut to cocoa farmers. Thousands of jobs lost. Electricity tariffs have increased astronomically. Cost of living keeps rising within just a year. So if Mr. President says that they are in a take-off mood and is advising Ghanaians to tighten their belt, fasten their seat belt, we understand. So he's telling us that we should expect more hardship. We see that in today's submission by Mr. President, especially on the aspect of the economy that talks about strengthening the city, he was clear with the facts, and those facts we do not disagree with him. He says that there has been stabilization measures, but we know that these stabilization measures did not just fall from the sky. The gold for forex and the gold for reserves, these were strategic decisions that were and remain the brainchild of our flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. The gold buffers that provided confidence, the framework that steadied the currency, and the foundation that made today's stability possible were already in place before 2025. In 2024, let me give some numbers. GDP had crossed 1 trillion cedis for the first time, and growth stood at 5.7%. In their time, growth is hovering around 4%. Over 30 tons of gold had been accumulated, and by the way, they have depleted the gold they came to meet. The 30 tons of gold that we accumulated, they have sold all the gold in the name of diversification. How do you diversify when the gold prices are at all times high? How do you say you are diversifying by selling your gold for cash when there is a time to keep your gold? Again, policy inconsistency. That notwithstanding, we think that instead of the president taking credit for it, he should give the credit to Dr. Bawumia. What belongs to Bawumia must be given to him. You cannot criticize an individual on a campaign platform only to assume the reins of government and implement the policy that you criticized. Today, agriculture has been abandoned. I am looking for Honorable Eric Opoko. I can't find him. He was such a loud voice on agriculture. And I respect him for the great debates he had on the floor. But where is Eric Opoko's voice today? His ministry has been rendered a good-for-nothing ministry. Look into the budget. Nothing was given to the ministry. Government has done nothing to promote agriculture. Production has not increased. All the numbers that they are parading are as a result of the gold board monopolization of the gold trade, and then the gold for forex initiative that we introduced. By the way, according to the IMF, as at end 2025, the losses incurred by Gold Board and Bank of Ghana had increased to over 7 billion cedis. We, the minority, hereby say that these 7 billion cedis could have done our roads, constructed hospitals, created opportunities in the private sector for the many Ghanaian youth who are unemployed, and in fact, it could have been enough to establish the women banking that they promised in opposition that they have failed. On Monday, we are going to bring to the attention of the country our comprehensive submission on the true state of the economy, on the true state of the nation. But for now, we conclude by saying that this government is only fixated on PR gimmicks and is only interested in political rhetorics rather than real action and creating opportunity for all Ghanaians. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah. And to the cocoa farmers, we stand with Ghanaian cocoa farmers. I repeat, we stand with Ghanaian cocoa farmers. We, the minority, we stand with Ghanaian cocoa farmers. Thank you very much.